So Joe Biden released another executive order last weekend, 2 weeks ago now. And if you heard my video with Naima Bulhawa last week, we did we did a whole interview together, and it's in six clips if you want to watch it. I recommend you do. It's really insightful, and we talk a little bit about this. But one thing Joe Biden has done is he's released a bunch of executive orders, and even the legislation he will pass is so incremental, so small, so minimal, so gross that it's just a bunch of serious missteps, and it doesn't actually help the American people. And Joe Biden, so he signs this executive order, and at first it said, "Oh, Biden to get rid of private prisons," and I was like, "Yes, get rid of private prisons. Go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. Come on, demented Joe. Let's go. Get rid of your dementia. Let's go do this." And then you look at the details, because the author of the crime bill just couldn't do it all. And you realize, oh wait, no, he's still a war criminal, warmonger, war on drugs person. Like he's still a hack. So, the architect of our terrible criminal justice system. So, Joe Biden did cancel private prison contracts with private prisons, right? The federal contracts, that is, right? Only for the Justice Department contracts with private prisons. Only for the Justice Department. So, how many prisons are there of the Justice Department? There are 12 such facilities, and they house a total of about, 14,000 prisoners. So, only 12 of these contracts, and you're only gonna, free, 14 prisoners out of these private prisons, right? And these prisons are rife with abuse and malpractice and all kinds of crap. Now, how many people did this warmonger, war criminal help put in prison over his tenure in the Senate and the White House as vice president? Well, the total U.S. population, U.S. prison population, is about 2.2 million people. So he's only getting rid of 12 private contracts with 12 private prisons that the Justice Department has private contracts with, right? So only the Justice Department, and that's only 14,000 people out of 2.2 million. Now, you need to understand that ICE also has, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They have a lot of prisons, and a lot of their detention facilities are with private contracts. Now, excuse me, there's a car here. Well, that was fast. So it's quiet now. So as I was saying, so those detention facilities that ICE has are partnered up. They're contracted with private prisons. So now let's take a look at this number. So about 67% of ICE detention facilities are private prisons. So that means that the people that the Democrats were going after and they were complaining about when Trump was in the presidency because they were doing raids out of control, which yes they were, but they were doing it under Obama too. They have contracts with private prisons, and ICE, I don't know if you know, is a federal program. So Joe Biden is not coming out and saying, hey, not only am I going to get rid of the ones that the Justice Department has, I'm going to get rid of all private prison contracts that the federal government has contractual ties with. No. Contracts with. No. Take a look at this. At the end of 2019, there were about... hold on a second. Let me get this number here because at the end of 2019, there were about 116,000 prisoners held in privately operated facilities, which represents roughly 7% of all state prisoners and 16% of all federal prisoners. So 116,000. Okay. In state prison contracts, and 16% of those are federal. 7% of those are state contracts. So what this tells us is Joe Biden's only freeing about 14,000 of them. So that means there are 102,000 people still in private prisons. Still in private prisons. Wow, how incredible. Now, is this a good step forward? It's a minuscule step forward. I don't know if it's a good or bad. Sure, he's getting rid of the Justice Department the Justice Department contracts, but I still think he could do more. Again, this incremental bullcrap that Joe Biden is pulling. Because as a war criminal and as the person who wrote the crime bill and the person who pushed Ronald Reagan to the right on the war on drugs and who said, I want to kill all the black people, everybody for everything but jaywalking. Yeah, no, you can't really do anything that'll actually help the actual prison population. And these private prisons, there's a court case right now. I don't remember where it was, but they are accusing a private prison of doing forced labor. I think there's another word for that. Oh, let's see. Slavery. Yeah, that's what it's called. Oh yeah, it's called slavery. That's what they call that. Forced labor. It's called slavery in a private prison. So Joe Biden is leaving 102,000 people in private prisons because the warmonger criminal Joe Biden, author of the crime bill and father of all crime, cannot free these people and go one step further and go, fuck it. All private prisons, bitch. Any private prison that has a federal contract with the federal government, we will not work with you. Joe Biden isn't doing that. Joe Biden is going to continue those because Joe Biden's a war criminal. Is it a good step forward? I think it's a minuscule step forward. I think it's a step forward. I don't think it's something that is going to help. But hey, you know what? What else can you expect from a war criminal? What else can you expect from the author of the crime bill? Right? Because it's, guys, like, we're putting people in prison for marijuana convictions most of the time. We're putting black men and brown men in jail for twice as long of sentences, for more times than a white person for often committing the same crimes. And, Joe Biden, like not getting rid of all private contracts, like, he might not be able to get rid of prisons. He might not be able to get rid of all private prisons. He might just be able to do the federal. But Congress can make a law. And who's the leader of the Democratic Party? Who has the majority? Joe Biden. And he could say, Pelosi and Schumer Pelosi, I don't give a fuck how he does it. You bring me a bill that says we're getting rid of private prisons. Boom. That's it. Shakalaka. There you go. No more private prisons. He could do that. But no, we can't have that. So we're just going to keep prosecuting people for, having marijuana. We're just going to keep prosecuting people for, dumb, small little things. Small-ass little things that they shouldn't even be in jail for, that have exacerbated the prison population. We're just going to keep them in there. And we're going to leave them in facilities that have done forced labor, abuse, malnutrition, and all of those things. Joe Biden's going to continue that. So, again, reviewing this, I thought, oh, great, he's going to do it. For once, I had hope a little bit. But as soon as I heard it, as with the Buy American, I said, oh, it has loopholes. Watch, it has loopholes. And then I found this, and I'm like, okay. I was right. Everything that Joe Biden's going to do is always going to have a loophole for the rich and for the prison-industrial complex and the military-industrial complex and Big Pharma and everybody else. So it's not going to be any good. Joe Biden, again, stupid-ass war criminal. What a dangerous feat to be in to allow for these private contracts of federal contracts with private prisons to continue, even though he knows about the abuse. So, Joe Biden doing the obvious incrementalist dance move that Obama did. Incredible.